I'm Sharon Savidson. Welcome to my podcast, Uplevel Your Life with Sharon. I'm a certified coach and a holistic practitioner. I'm also a mother of 2 adult children. I started this podcast so that I can give you bite-sized pieces and tools that you can take away with you, so that you can use these in your daily life. I want to provide you with many tools, and then you can decide which of the tools resonate with you that you can use on a daily basis or when you need them. So whether you are feeling frustrated with life or you're just looking to enhance your life, this podcast is for you. If you are ready to uplevel your life, you're in the right place. So let's move forward together. Hi, welcome back everyone. I have a very special guest with us today. Jacqueline Huynh is a heart-centered mystic rooted in a maternal lineage of mediums and channelers. Jacqueline and I met in 2012 when we were doing our coaching course through IPEC, and we have been very close friends ever since, and I'm very excited to have you here. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here joining you on your podcast.
Right. We are definitely soul sisters. We are so aligned in everything that we do.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so tell us a little bit more about how you got to where you are. Yes, I know that it's in your lineage, but tell us a little bit about the path.
Yeah, I'm gonna go from now to back really quick. So about 3 years ago, I think the last big awakening for me was when I had my breast implants removed.
Right.
It was a removal of a shield that was protecting me in a way, right? A shield also protects you, but it also prevents you from being on the other side, from opening up, from seeing everything. And so I say this because there are many women in this world that have breast implants and they are hurting physically, mentally, emotionally, and it's disconnection of your spiritual self to your body. At least that's what it was for me and many other women that I know. Um, After it was removed, I basically woke up. I remember, we don't learn anything. It's all a remembrance. Everything is a remembrance. And so I started remembering this, past lives, in between lives, lives in different dimensions and galaxy, and things became easier to access, easier to learn, and life became more of a joy. Um, to go back, my journey started in Vietnam. We were the refugees that had to leave in 1975 when the war ended. And I arrived here when I was 7. And my mother is a medium, or what people can say, she sees ghosts.
I
And
don't think I knew
her,
that actually.
yeah, it's always been known, but she never was guided or taught how to use her power. So it was always kind of controlled her. And so was my aunts, her sister, no, my great aunt. So her aunt, my grandmother, her mother, and probably back, according to other mediums who have channeled me, and they said the lineage goes back farther, but because we came from a third world country and it was warring, no one kept any notes. But the difference is that have I have guides and I have teachers now that's in this mystic field that's helped me kind of contain my gift so that it doesn't control me. I don't have messages just coming all throughout the day and night, right? And just
Oh,
receiving, of people
right,
just showing up,
right, right, right.
spirit showing
Yep,
up whenever they want to. So I've had to learn how, like every gift, Michael Jordan had a gift playing
right,
basketball. He had to have a coach. He had many coaches
right.
to learn how to harness it, right? And these are all gifts that we that is our birthright that
Right.
has been given to us. And so we need the right people to learn how to use it. And I'm still learning. I always think I'm still in kindergarten with this.
You're always learning, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so that's a little bit of my journey, coming into this path and realizing that I'm a mystic. We're all mystics. Really, at our essence, we are mystical. We are light beings
We all
embodied.
have the opportunity to do that. It's just a matter of whether we tap into it. But,
Exactly.
we're so similar. And I don't think we've really talked about this because my mother too has the gift. And
Mhm.
she also didn't really want to use it or was afraid of it. And my grandmother as well. And then her father
Yeah,
was a Kabbalah rabbi. So
right,
it
right.
goes back through the
Generation.
ancestry, right? And it's
Right.
almost like we have it in our blood. Not
Yeah.
everybody has it in their ancestry. I mean, there are newer people
Yeah.
that are just starting on the journey, which that's amazing too.
Yeah, yeah. And then when we think about it, that's a duality universe, right? But if we think of it as a non-dual, where we all are one, then we all are part of the same fractal. So we all have the gifts. It's
We
all in
all
us.
have the
We are
gift,
one. Yeah.
and it's just a matter of bringing it in, right? Just
Remembering. It's about matter of
remembering,
remembering. Yeah.
just tapping into the access
Okay.
of that.
Yeah.
Let's
Think of it as we're amnesia patients. We're all
exactly.
amnesia patient. We all have it. We just have to unlock that memory.
Right. Well, it's like we come in and we forget everything the minute we're born, and then we
Right.
have to kind of go through the journey of remembering and learning, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I remember somebody turning around to me and saying to me, and I said, I wanted to learn something, and they said, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. But
Mhm.
Jack, let's talk a little bit more about tapping into it because you and I do all of this stuff, we play and it's so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about accessing that. So,
Yeah.
tell our listeners, our viewers, a little bit more about tapping into what we already know. How do you tap in? What do you
Yeah.
use?
Well, let's talk about this is intuition, right? We're talking because how many times have I gone to your house and we sat there with the pendulum and we're like, let's ask the crystal, right? Really, what we're tapping into is the intuition, and intuition is our inner compass, right?
Right,
We're asking other people, but really, it's our intuition. Our intuition is our inner compass, and it is the most powerful tool that will serve us the rest of our life. It's the
right.
one tool. If you're gonna practice anything, practice intuition. We're gonna talk later about how to do this, right?
Yeah, because
No
people
doubt.
turn around and go, "How can I trust myself
We're gonna
to
talk about
know
that later
that
too.
what's
We're gonna
coming
do
in?"
that, right? And so intuition is really listening to your soul. It's accessing our soul blueprint. We all have a blueprint, just like a house has a blueprint. The moment we took a breath, we put our blueprint for this life out there, and that intuition, and we forgot, like you said, we forgot. So something has to remember. We forgot consciously, but there's something in us that still holds that blueprint, and that is the intuition that
Right,
holds that remembrance of your soul's blueprint. And when you practice this, you're really listening to your soul. And
right.
you should not do anything unless you first check in with your intuition first, right? That's one thing you've taught about to me many times is let's go check the pendulum, which is really checking our body.
Well, I just want to say, can I just interject here? Because even without talking about the soul, I say to my clients, what is going on? I believe that we all hold the answers. So this is exactly what you're saying. It's not a matter of someone else telling you something. It is our body, our aura, our soul holds the answers. And
Yeah.
just
Yep.
right to reinforce
This
that.
this is our inner compass. Our intuition is that compass
Right,
that sets us. And how many times in our life we look back and we're like, oh, my gut said I shouldn't have done that, or my
right,
gut told me I should have done that.
right.
That's what it is. It's all right here. It's in our solar plex. It's that's where our confidence is. That's where our personality is. This is what guides us, and we got to go back to it.
I want to make this a little bit more basic before we get into the deeper
So
mysticism,
yeah.
because what just popped into my head was one of the techniques that we learned at IPEC. And the founder, Bruce, would talk about how he had these businessmen that were not spiritual at all, like spiritual or like didn't,
Yeah.
but the technique of just quietening the body,
Yep.
and that's where you could access the information from. You don't have to be all woo woo or spiritual or
No.
anything else. It is this, everyone has access to this, and it's
Yeah.
just how you get access, right? So it kind of
Right.
just popped into my head about, oh, remember we
Absolutely.
learned that technique, which was
Yeah.
like calming the
Yeah.
body and just getting into clearing the mind. So carry on.
Right. Right. It's just, how many times that business people have, I can tell you the most successful business people, whether, Mark Zuckerberg, all the way, to Carl Kutcher of Walmart, right? They'll say like, it just didn't feel right.
My gut.
That didn't feel right. I didn't make that decision because it didn't feel right. Well, guess what?
Exactly.
That's the intuition.
Exactly.
It didn't feel right. Whenever you start, anybody say that, and that's the the most successful business people go
Right.
eventually with their you first do all the and the analytical stuff, making sure that the
Your
money
due
is right,
diligence.
right, and then you go
Right.
right into, okay, now that I know all of these facts,
Right.
what does it feel like? And when you go there, that's the intuition. And
Right.
you need both. You need both. You need the masculine, the feminine,
Right.
the right brain and the left brain, right?
Right. The
So,
doing and the receiving.
and yep, you have to,
Right. So the
right,
masculine is the doing,
right. So you
and
need,
then
before you do, you need to feel. So does it feel right? If it
right.
feels right, then you do. That's how you, then you can start course correcting from there.
Right.
So,
You
yeah,
know, and and then let's go a little deeper, because then we want confirmation, right? So all of these things are just basically reinforcing the pendulum, the
yeah.
muscle testing, all of that. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, one thing I want to get to is the one thing that intuition has helped me is it helps me question influences out from the outside world.
Yes.
Right. So many, especially these young children now who are they follow influencer and all these things and they're getting body dysmorphia. We're in
Yeah.
a world of, they're 16 and they want to get breast implants and 25 and they want to get I mean, like it's crazy. And
Right.
they're so influenced by the outside world. And it's not just social media, it's also their family. I mean,
Absolutely.
I come from an Asian family, and it's like you have to be a doctor, lawyer, or
Right.
attorney, right? And so all these influences. So this is what intuition is going to help you to filter out all of that noise and say, is this what my soul wants? Is
Right.
this true for my soul?
Right.
Is this true for my path? Um,
Right.
and so this is why I think it's so important to also to help our children and our client to really get rid of that noise in their mind and go back,
Right.
right? So you're not relying on other people to get your answer.
Right. Right.
So to go back to your question, what we should use, is that we were talking about how so I use the pendulum. I know I think you've used muscle testing, right? You use the pendulum too, right? Yep, we
I
all
use
have.
both.
And we have so many kinds. I have this one, I have metal ones, I have wood ones, I have one that's
Right.
all chakra. So each one for me I use differently. Like this one I usually use for my clients or general, and I have one that's the chakra, and that's for my personal stuff.
Right.
And then I found one that's just for my health. And I asked the pendulum, like what what's
What
the
do you
best
want to
for
be
you
used for?
for, right? And you
Right.
taught me that.
Right.
So pendulum works, and I know I have friends who are so good at this muscle testing, where
Right.
and for some reason that has not resonated with me, but I can do the body testing where should we try some of these for your listeners who don't know?
Sure. Let's do
Let's do
that.
it.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the body testing is you can stand up. Usually standing up works best, right? So I'll just kind of stand up and then you kind of close your eyes and center yourself. You would kind of center yourself and just feel grounded. And then you ask a yes, no question, like first you want to test it.
Hold on a second. What does grounded mean? Can you just explain to them
Sure,
when you
grounding
say
just,
just be
okay, sure. So you're just imagining that your feet has roots and it's going right into the earth all the way to the center. So kind of like what a tree, it has all these roots and it's going into the center of the earth and just feeling so connected and solid to the ground. Okay, and when I do that, I can feel energy rising above my all up my legs. And then first you want to test your body. So you say, give me a yes. And usually a yes, you'll kind of fall forward. And you'll say, give me a no. And most of the time with no, people will fall backward.
so
But
you're telling it to tell you what the yes and no is as opposed to training it the way that you do with a pendulum, where you say this is yes, this
and
is
you can do both. You can do both. You can tell first you can. So these are all like nuances that I think we can do.
okay.
We can ask like, show me what it is, or you can say this is a yes and this is a no, either way.
Okay.
And then from there, you want to clear your mind, right? You want to clear your mind and ask that the answer that you're getting from your question is coming from the highest source energy, from the light.
Okay. The
Um,
universe, God,
God, whatever
whatever
it is you
you have
believe in,
access to.
you want it to come from the light. Okay, and then you clear your mind, clear your emotion. You're not attached to yes or
Okay.
no, whatever it is, and you can ask your question. And then
Okay.
you'll feel your body move forward or left, and then you
So
can
just do
define.
something. Ask a question, like a basic question, and then
Yeah,
let us
sure.
see you in
Like,
motion.
sure. Should I have a salad for lunch today? Yes.
Okay.
Right. Should I have
Awesome.
a hamburger for lunch today? No. My body does not want a hamburger today for
Okay.
lunch. Should I wear a red blouse today? No.
Okay.
You're starting with basic question because I don't care. I don't care if I'm wearing a red dress
Right.
shirt or a white shirt, but this is training. This is the crawling before
It's
walking.
training. Right.
Training that I have no attachment emotionally, no attachment in my mind, what I want,
Right.
should I have apple juice or cranberry juice? Apple juice? No. Cranberry juice? No. Should I have water? Yes. My body wants water,
Right.
right?
Right.
So those are ways, and then we can go into pendulum. You
Yeah,
can
because
actually
I've never used that. So I've never done that. I use the muscle testing. This is
see
a
you
yes
do
for me
that.
and this is a no.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
maybe
so
you can
funny
go
because
into that.
I'll be
Yeah,
in public and I'm trying to think of when the last time was that I was thinking, people must think I'm crazy. I'm sitting here and I'm going, is this a good? What should I be
yeah,
doing this? No.
right.
And then they're kind of looking at me, which it doesn't make a
Yeah,
difference.
so maybe you can go over that because you're really good with that. So you can go over that because that doesn't work for me and it's
Right.
different for everyone.
Right. So the muscle testing is just, this will be your fingers will lock if it's a yes, if it's a strong yes, and they will unlock if it's a no. And you kind of can say, this is a yes, this is a no. So,
And
uh,
and I think the science that what it is because when it's true, your
your
muscle is
butt,
strong.
right.
When it's not true, your muscle is weak. And so that's why
Exactly.
this
And
doesn't, yeah.
And so there are other ways to do that where you have like the muscle testing, which
Yes,
is what I learned. But I'll
right.
tell you something very interesting just to go back to a little bit of science, which I love to interject. David Hawkins, who was a
Yes,
psychiatrist, he did the scale of frequency, etc. And
right.
what he did was he took sweetener, artificial sweetener,
Yeah.
and he put the sweetener into envelopes, and then he put some of the envelopes that had the sweetener in front of people and some of the envelopes that didn't have anything in front of people. And it was a blind test. They didn't know what it was. And
Uh-huh.
when he muscle tested them according to whether this was, desirable or not, with blind testing, the people that had the sweetener, their muscles were weak.
Yep. Yep.
And so he did a lot of testing with regards to to the muscle testing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you go ahead and talk about the pendulum, and if
Okay. Well, the pendulum, I mean, it's pretty easy. I clear it. There's many
how do
ways
you
of clearing
clear
it.
it?
There's many ways of clearing it, right? One thing, you can put it out in the moon or the sun. You can also put it underwater to clear it, basic. I'm also trained in Huna, shamanism and Reiki. And so I will put sacred geometry symbol because I'm attuned to the symbol. So I
Right.
will use symbols to clear it. Um, and but yeah, you can just simply put underwater, and you can make sure the crystal that you have can go underwater, but the
Right.
sun, the moon is a great way to clear it.
I'm going to add to that.
Hmm.
One of the things that I absolutely love for clearing energy is selenite.
Selenite, right?
Right
There
here,
you
but the
go. That
selenite
too.
wand.
Yep,
Um,
I have it.
so if you just wave the wand
Yep,
over
let me
all
get
of your
it. I have it
crystals,
here.
even your body, right?
Yep.
Then that will clear the energy. The selenite is a great, yes. So
Yes. Or you
selenite's
can,
a
I
great
have
way
a,
to clear.
right, and I have a selenite bowl. Let me show. You can also get a selenite bowl, and they come in different sizes, and I will
Right,
put my crystals in
right.
there to clear it. So you can do that too,
Right, 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 right. And the other thing is, if under the full moon and the new moon, that's a
right?
great time to kind of put your crystals in the windowsill or outside.
Yep,
And
yep,
listen, the power of intention is huge.
yep.
Okay, so carry on. So I've got a new pendulum. What am I doing with it?
Well, before we even get a pendulum, I think you taught this. You want to make sure that it wants to come home with you. So you're gonna be somewhere, and there's gonna be probably a dozen to or more pendulum, and you're like, which one do I pick, right?
Right,
So this is the yes no question, right? Either you sometimes I can just feel it. Like I'll feel it, and it'll
right,
just feel more energy, and I'd feel drawn to it. But
right.
if you're not there, you can just take it, and you can say, give um the same thing, give me a yes or no, and it'll give you it, and you say, do you want to come home with me? And it'll say it. Or
Okay.
just
So
ask.
I train it. I think that with the way that I do it is I say this is yes
Yes,
and this
this
is
is a
no.
no.
And I
Okay.
and I was at the Soulscape in San Diego. I wanted to get a deck of cards. And so
Uh-huh.
I didn't have my pendulum with me. So I just took another pendulum and I just said, okay, this is yes, this is no. Is there anything here that I need to get? And I kind of went around the store and looked and I came home with nothing, the pendulum. But I
Yep.
just take another pendulum and do that. Or you can just say to the pendulum, do you want me to, do you want to come home with me? Are you right for me? This is yes, this
Yeah.
is no. Show me what it is.
Yeah. And same concept. Either you
Right.
can train it, or, for me, I'm just so used to saying,
You
show
just
me yes
say,
or
right,
no.
right,
But
right,
you
right,
can say, this is yes or no. And, do you want to come home with me? And it'll tell you yes or
right,
no. And so then once you take it home, you put an intention. Same thing. And the power of intention is so powerful,
very
right?
powerful.
And so you want to put the intention of what you want, it
Right,
to help you with. And then you start from there. But I think, before we even get there, for people, for you and me, that's what we do because we've been practicing so long with this. But
right,
for the listeners, I feel, who are all new to this, right? How
right,
how do you start? And so, we talked about clearing your energy first,
right,
just clearing, just releasing anything that doesn't serve you with all your exhale, inhaling the light and the love, clearing everything. And then once you feel centered and grounded, feeling the roots going into the ground, feeling grounded, you're gonna ask that all of the answer you receive is coming from source, from
right.
God, from
A
your
higher
the
place.
highest of good, right?
Right,
And you're gonna let go of your ego, your desire, any manipulation to the answer, right?
right,
Because you have to come from a neutral place.
right.
Can't come from a that you want this. No desire
Because then your intention's going to guide
is
what
going
it
to
is,
change.
right?
Right, right. And then, for people who are just starting, I would say start with the least important question for a good month. Don't ask anything important, which is what we were saying. What should I wear pants today, or should I wear a dress? Should I wear this blue shirt or this green shirt? And then when you like everything, right? Like you get to your kitchen and you're like, okay, should I have juice this morning?
Right.
What juice should I have? Apples or orange juice?
Right. Right.
So what this is doing, and as the pendulum is going, feel what your body is saying.
Right.
Your body's gonna feel, your heart is gonna feel a little different on a yes, and it's gonna feel a little different on a no. So now you're
Right.
getting tuned into your body, and
Um,
you're remembering, oh, this is what a yes and a no feels like, right? You're
right.
training. And eventually you're going to graduate from, apple juice, orange juice, sandwich, or soup to something a little bit more personal, that
Right.
maybe that you may want, like for me it might be, what's the next book, like I really want to learn this thing, and what would be a great book for me to go look at, like, if I want to learn about astral projection, right? There's so many things out there about
But
it.
how's the pendulum going to tell you that? So unless you have what we
So
have
so
books that
so
have
this
charts, right?
Besides
So
the yes, so you taught me the chart, right? You're the one that got me into the chart. So after the yes or no, you can actually, and it beyond the chart, I can actually just get a piece of paper and just create my own chart. You can just draw a
exactly.
circle,
You're right.
and then you can even do, can you see this? It's, I mean, the pendulum is so beautiful. You can
Yeah.
do a circle and quadrant, and you can
Right.
write, the answer. You can write, different book A, book B,
Right.
book
Right.
C, book D, and put the pendulum in the
The
middle, and
middle.
you'll see it goes,
Right.
and if you don't want to do a circle, you can do a half a circle, which
Or
is
I
much,
just do, I just do a cross and then, yeah.
yeah,
Yep. Yep.
right.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So you can graduate to more than just yes or no. You can put down all of the choices. The one thing that I do, since that expanded on yes and no, is also, I always have a maybe and a not now. A maybe is, I need to maybe do further research, is what for me the answer is. And not now is, sometimes I'm not supposed to know the answer.
Well, so what happens with me, and there's certain people that um, come to me for answers a lot,
Hmm.
that the pendulum won't just it just won't move.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'll go, well, here we go again. Pendulum doesn't want to tell you the answer because it needs to come from you, or there's more work that needs to be done. And so
Exactly.
in that instance, I may just elaborate with a lot of it comes to me, so I don't really need it, but I may just use the cards to reinforce
Ex
what the
mhm.
next step is to say,
Right.
okay, well, right now, and also what happens with me and when people ask, when am I going to meet somebody? Like, is it
Yeah.
so the answers are not necessarily definitive and they're dependent on something else. And that's another whole,
Yeah. We can go down a
another,
rabbit hole. That's why I'm like, let's start.
right? We
That
can
should
go
be
down,
intuition,
right.
like upper division that we're gonna teach later. But I think for now, I think is for that's why it can get so much, and people end up not doing it because they're like, oh, it's not right, it's never correct for me.
Right. Why you have to
Because
start with a basic
yeah, you
and you've got to form a relationship with your pendulum. You and
right.
I can pick up anything. I mean, I've been known to literally take my necklace off and then
Yep,
use the
I do.
pendulum with my necklace, right? Or
Right, right.
give me a piece of string and
I'll put Yeah,
whatever it
I'll
is.
just tie something on it and I can use it. Right. I just, as
Exactly.
long as I clear it and I center myself. And this is what someone who keeps practicing, they can get better and better at it, right?
Right.
And if we go back to basic, this is how we all started. This is how we learned how to crawl, is just asking questions like, what should I eat for, should I eat this apple or this orange for breakfast? Where
Right.
we had to learn how to get centered and have no emotion, no attachment to the answer, and
Exactly.
knowing what that feels like.
Exactly.
Because I know now, if I'm not clear and I'm too attached to the answer,
Exactly.
my I already know my body is going to skew this pendulum. Like my body feels different than
Right.
if it's a question that I'm asking that's I'm not attached to.
I'll tell you what I do. And sometimes this is like, if it's somebody close to me that's asking a question and I know that I have an attachment to what they really want,
Yep. Our children.
is I will write things on a piece of paper and then fold it up and test each of the pieces of paper and then divide. But sometimes I'll tell you, sometimes the answer is not decided, and
Yeah.
sometimes there isn't a
It's
definite outcome.
it's a
So
maybe.
when it's a maybe, right?
Mhm.
So when my child says to me, "What am I going to get for my exam?"
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, the answer isn't decided yet because it depends on what you do in the next week before you
Right.
even
Right.
take the exam. Are you going to sit down and study? Are
Mhm.
you going to be
Right.
like, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Um, but
Yes.
I find that that blind
Yep.
testing it will take my
Yep.
desire and my attachment out of it when I'm doing it for
Yeah.
somebody else.
And the blind testing also works well. And this is what I was taught too, is I will call a friend or just text a friend and without telling, right? Because energy
Exactly.
is quantum, right? So I just say, I go, I have a question in my mind. Tell me if you're getting a
Yes.
yes, no, maybe, or I shouldn't know. Just tell
Yes.
me the first thing that you're getting. Yes, no, maybe I shouldn't know. And my friends, I know I'll have pendulum and
Yes.
they'll check with one or two of their pendulum just to get a confirmation. They
Right.
don't know what the question is.
Exactly.
There's no attachment. And then I'll ask a few friends and then I'll kind of there'll
See.
be a definite pattern of what the answer is, and so
Right.
that way it'll confirm to me if something is
Right.
too personal. So that's another way. So you have start a group text with some of your friends and start
Right.
practicing that way.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And then the other thing I think that will help increase your intuition is meditation. I mean, it helps we all know how much it helps in general in so many ways, but when it comes to intuition, it helps you turn off the chatter.
Right.
It helps train your mind to be really receptive.
Right.
It calms your emotion.
Right.
So that way you can tune into your intuition. So besides all the other things that meditation
Right.
is good for, this is how it will help with intuition and accessing your compass.
Right.
And the thing about meditation or breath work or movement, right?
Right. Right.
Meditation doesn't
There's so
have
many
to
different.
be because there's walking meditation. It's really just dropping in your body, whether it's through breath work, through movement, through sound. You can listen to music. People will put them, when you listen to
Right.
music, you get yourself out of your mind
Right.
and being present. That's really what it is. So whatever it is for you, running in the park or
Right.
walking on the beach, if that drops you into your body and out of your mind and your emotion and your presence, then
Right.
that's the state that you need to be in.
Absolutely. I do want to expand on that,
Mhm.
which is when we ask for signs, then something will
Signs.
pop,
That's the
how often I've gone, okay, I'm going to go to sleep, but I'm called to just quickly open my computer for a minute before I go to sleep. And then something will pop up on YouTube that I was absolutely supposed to see or hear
yeah,
or do. And
yeah,
so just ask, show me a sign about
yeah,
where I need to go or what I need to do or about confirmation. You might hear a song, you may see something that
yeah,
confirms it, and then just play with it. But I,
yeah,
but I think what we're saying is start looking inwards instead of outwards. We're so
yeah,
focused on what is everybody else doing, what's happening outside of there, but what's happening inside. And
yeah, yeah,
and start to explore that.
yeah. And the things that we talk about is signs in three, right? Like if in in a matter of 48 hours, three different people say the same thing to you,
Right.
like, oh, like, oh, I read this book, it's so wonderful. And then,
Right.
a few hours later, someone else, or you see that book, that's the first thing you see when
Right.
you walk into a bookstore. And then that three, it comes in three for us to really solidify that's what it is. So what my body is like, shh. it's like shimmering right now,
Right.
because it wants me to say this, so many times. Or like if someone, like for me, it's like if I have friends where we've tried to get together, right? Like either in person or on the phone, and every time it's like, okay, let's do this, and then they can't make it, or then the next time, and after three times we're like, okay, we're not meant, we're just
Right.
going to clear this and we'll come back
Right.
another time, because right now
Right.
we're not supposed to meet each other for whatever reason.
Right.
And it's not because I don't want to be with you or vice versa, but the
Right.
energy is saying not now. So we're just going to take it as a sign, not now, and then we'll come back later.
Right.
So just know that, signs come in threes, and
Right.
stop pushing when you keep, or maybe
Right.
if it's coming in threes, like a book, it keeps showing up. Like I know Gene Keys came to me, like I've always, it's been my peripheral, the Gene Keys
Right.
studies, and then all of a sudden in a matter of like 48 hours it was like right in my face. And then that weekend I went to the website, and I that for the whole weekend I could not stop looking at all the videos on Gene Keys, and it's changed my life going down that path. And same thing with Tantra, it's the same way. And I think these are signs for us to step back on our path. This is who we are.
I want to say something because we spoke a lot about gene keys. You did my gene key chart, etc., etc. But it doesn't resonate with me. There is nothing
But
about
that's
gene keys
right. And
that
that's
resonates
not
with
your
me.
path.
It's
That's
like
not
I don't understand it. I don't really feel it. It's like
right.
I can't get
It's
into it.
fine.
Now, something else that's interesting, just to talk about how things come to you, is
Uh-huh.
that it had to have been more than 25 years ago. I went to a numerologist in LA and she started teaching me, which is also part of like this whole numerology, like it's all in my ancestry.
Yeah.
She started teaching me, she taught me this method, okay, of how to do the basically um I don't know what she called it, but it was numerology. Fast forward till maybe 5 years ago, somebody showed me a book which was the destiny cards, and it was exactly the system, but somebody had taken the system and put it into a book and laid it out in a way that it's so much easier to access than
Exactly.
basically doing it from scratch, right?
Right.
It was supposed to come back to me. I forgot about it. I used to do just like basic numerology and everything, but the system. So now I do the Destiny card readings, right? And it
Uh-huh.
tells you by birthday, etc. But that resonates with me, whereas the gene keys. So
Yeah.
trust, even with the coaching course that we did, three, I think five people one week said to me, "You need to go and do coaching or X, Y, and Z." And I was like, "Okay, I need to be going and studying." And then I
Hmm.
looked at a different, I decided it was going to be coaching. I looked at a few different courses, and the one that I decided actually canceled the introduction. And IPEC was the one that was accessible. And then it was absolutely the right one for me because it brought in all of the different elements, which the other one didn't. So trust that you will be given
Right.
what it is that you need to be given. And
Right.
sometimes it's a lesson, right? Sometimes it's
Right.
not everything is
Right.
hunky dory, but you need to go through a lesson in order to get to where you need to be
Right.
on the
Here's the
journey.
thing. Here's the thing. We talked earlier about how we have a soul blueprint. At the moment we were conceived and we took the first breath of life, it's all in the stars. And
Right,
all of these systems, whether it's the destiny card, gene keys, human design, numerology, horoscope, they all need, guess what? The time and date and location of your birth to
right,
chart it, right?
right.
All of them need that. And so
Destiny
that's
Keys
what they
doesn't need the full date and it also doesn't need the time. But then also it's just part of the story, I think. You can't tell
exactly.
the
But
whole story from that.
the big systems, right? Like
Right,
let's go just astrology.
right,
Astrology, whether it's the Chinese astrology or
right,
the or the Vedic astrology, right? It all needs your date to be precise, to
right,
really be precise and accurate with your exact blueprint. You
right,
could be the dragon or a Virgo, right? But
right.
and that's because it is tapping into your
Mhm.
precise blueprint, and that's what it
Right,
is. And for some people, human design really resonates with them. Other is
right,
numerology, other is astrology, but it's all tapping into the same blueprint and just just reading different
Right.
aspect of your soul
Right.
contract. And like you said, some people, like, I don't resonate with human design, and Gene Keys came out of human design.
Right.
It's the feminine transmission of the masculine human
Right.
design. It's the same. It's just yin yang, but
Right.
human designs never resonate with.
Right.
And
Right.
other people, astrology is just like everything.
Right.
It's beautiful, right?
Right.
But wherever you get your information, um, please go back to your intuition, because someone else is still reading it off of their
Absolutely.
emotion and their
Absolutely.
life's life's happening, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And is this feel right now?
Right.
Just so we go back to intuition.
Right. Jack, we could talk for the next, I don't know, as we always do. So I'm going to have you come back on again.
Yes, yes,
So,
I'd
so
love
I'm
to.
curious. So we've given the reader, the listeners, or the readers, the listeners, quite a bit of information, and hopefully they will go ahead and try and give us feedback about what their
Yeah,
experience was. We'd love to hear how,
yeah,
what you
yeah.
took away and what you thought, etc. Just one quick question. What does up level mean to you? When
For me, it's different for, there's a general, I probably, but I'm going to speak from my intuition,
yeah,
from my heart. Up leveling for me is just growing, always
yeah,
growing. Some
exactly.
part of your body, I think every day we should be growing physically, emotionally, mentally,
Absolutely.
spiritually. Lift up, take a walk, lift some weight for your physical health. It
Whatever.
will
Yeah,
affect your emotional, because we know when we exercise, we could release emotions, right? And then when we release emotion, we get clarity in our mind.
right,
Meditate, for spirituality, write, read a book so that you can mentally learn and expand your mind. Take a, really dig deep into your emotion. Work
right,
on your inner child work on your little girl. Look
right,
at your shadow, because your shadow is also your gift. There's no such thing as shadow.
right,
We live in a polarity, but really it's
right,
all the same side. Say it's just two sides of a coin. And when we
right,
look at and loving, the anger part of us and loving the other side of it,
right.
at the same. So that's up leveling, is
Yeah,
constantly working on those four
yeah,
aspect of yourself every
yeah.
day in some form.
Jack, where can people find you?
So they can follow me on Instagram, which is ecstatic love life. And my website's the same, ecstatic love life. I have events. Every month we have and these events are in person. So I have a cord cutting energy activation event. It's really a recalibration. And then about once every our next weekend retreat is in October 18th and 19th. It's in San Clemente. On my website and on my Instagram, you will find things I do online, and also all of our in-person events that will help people get back into their body, to remember, to reclaim, and to re-energize this vessel that we have.
I love it. And your events are amazing, and you are amazing.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here. We'll definitely have you back again to talk
Thank
about all
you.
the other things that you do. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of Up Level Your Life with Sharon. Congratulations on taking a step towards obtaining the knowledge and tools for your well-being and your success. But remember, knowledge alone isn't enough. And true transformation comes from consistent action. So, what insight from today's episode will you be able to apply to your life? I'd love to hear from you. Please send me a message. And for more information, please visit my website at www.sharonsavitson.com. If this podcast has been helpful, please subscribe and share. And together we can up-level and inspire more people to live their best life.